Okay, we'll start. So yes, good morning ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, cherished colleagues and my dear friends. Welcome to the Godrej Industries Chemicals International Women's Day Celebration 2024. As we look around, we see the faces of extraordinary women who grace our workforce and communities with their brilliance, passion and dedication. Today, we celebrate their successes, amplify their voices, and reaffirm our commitment to fostering an inclusive environment where every woman can thrive and excel. Women's Day is not merely a date on the calendar. It is a call to action. It indicates us to challenge stereotypes, dismantle barriers, and champion diversity in all its forms. It reminds us that gender equality is not a distant dream, but a collective responsibility, and that requires our unwavering commitment and concentrated efforts. Today, we honor the women in our company and beyond. Their contributions shape our success and inspire us every day. Let's celebrate their achievements, support their aspirations, and continue striving for a more inclusive future. So to begin with, we have Parmesh Shahani with us today. Parmesh Shahani is the head of Godrej DEI Lab at Godrej Industries, an experimental space that aims to empower inclusion ecosystems both within and outside Godrej Group. Prior to this, between 2011 to 2021, he founded and headed Godrej India Culture Lab as a multi-year interdisciplinary project which examined the ever-changing nature of Indian society. Parmesh's first book, Gay Bombay, Globalization, Love and Belonging in Contemporary India, was released in 2008. His second book, LGBTQ, Queeristan, Inclusion in the Indian Workplace, was released in 2020 and conferred with the C.K. Prahalad Prize for the Best Business Book of 2021, and also with the Ladli Media Award for Gender Sensitivity for 2021. Parmesh holds an MS in Comparative Media Studies from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He is a TED Senior Fellow, a Yale World Fellow, a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader, and a board member of Coj International Artists Association and Breakthrough. Today, Parmesh will shed light on the importance of DEI in fostering a culture where every individual, regardless of gender, background, or identity, feels valued, respected, and empowered to thrive. Welcome, Parmesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. Let me figure if, yeah, excellent. So thank you to all of you who are here. We've been celebrating Women's, I won't need the click, I'll just use my hand. Yeah, we've been celebrating Women's Month at Godrej, and it has to be Women's Year, and then we have to continue throughout. So this is part of our, Women's Month, Women's Year caravan. So I'm very, very happy to be continuing this journey with Godrej Chemicals. What I thought today, since many of you are here maybe and are thinking about DEI and like trying to contextualize it for the first time, we'll do a little very quick overview of what DEI is. Before then, I hand it over to Vishal to talk about why it's so important for us at Godrej Chemicals as well, and some of the ambitious plans that we have. And I think that we may have a world premiere of some sorts for us as well. So, DEI basically stands for Diversity, Equity and Inclusion. And very simply, diversity is essentially presence, right? So when if there are lesser women in society, if there are more women in society, for example, 50%, but there's less than 50% in the workplace as well, diversity means having more and more women in there, right? There's a very famous saying by Verne Myers, who is a famous activist who until recently headed DEI at Netflix. And her thing is like, diversity is like being invited to the party. But inclusion is the feeling that you get, right? So if you can see, inclusion is how do you feel when you are at the party? So what Verne said is inclusion is being asked to dance. And that's the difference, right? You can come to a place, but you can be sitting in the corner and no one wants you to dance as well. So inclusion is when you are present, how do you feel? And then beyond that is equity. And equity says that everyone is at a different stage, everyone has had different opportunities, everyone has different realities. How do we create conditions for everyone to thrive? For example, 6-month maternity leave, right? Because, biologically, when you're having a child, and so on, you need time for childbirth, and then you need time to say, recover and move on as well, right? So equity in that sense would be, and then so many men might say, but we don't have 6 months or whatever, and we're working on some of that, but not everyone, say, carries children, and you would need more for that, right? And if you see in this diagram, for example, here, it's a little sense of equity, and there's so many equity diagrams, but I hope you get a chance, right? So equity would mean saying if someone is unable to see, having that special software for them to see. You're not doing anything extra. You're just providing the framework so that they can have the software so that they can do their job and so on, right? We have a ramp here. Ramp, in a sense, is equity. If someone is on a wheelchair, they can come up on the wheelchair on the ramp and so on. Everyone gets these basic fundas. There are prizes for answering questions. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Why is DEI important? DEI is now actually over the past few years become, along with sustainability, along with so many things, very, very important in the world, as well as in business, especially as well, right? Obviously, it's the right thing to do because, our society is full of so many incredibly talented people, but not everyone is in the workplace as well. So obviously, from a moral standpoint, it's the right thing to do. But there's also so much data now that says that it also makes actual business sense. So companies like ours, which care about it, so many companies all over the world are realizing that when we invest in DI, and Women's Day, this Women's Day celebration is a part of how we are thinking of DI all the time at Godrej as well. So, you can just see, this is just a snippet of all the data that's out there, right? So companies that are really thinking of how to be more inclusive have so much more higher innovation revenues, for example, just to give you a sense, right? All the data says that when you are more diverse, you make better decisions. And this is, it should be a no-brainer, but when there's everyone around the table in a room, obviously you will take different perspectives, you will have other points of view, you will say, how is it for you? And you'll be able to take more informed decisions. It's like if everyone around the table looks the same, you will have no idea of how other people are, how they think, how they imagine as well. And companies are realizing more and more that having more inclusion teams help you make more decisions and then more profit as well. This is just to give you a snapshot of where we are at all the 6 Godrej Industries group of companies. Women happen to be 50% of the world, but all over at Godrej, we are 37%. LGBTQ people, incidentally, happen to be 6 to 10% of the world. And we are about 0.5%. That is being ambitious. Persons with disabilities happen to be 15% of the world, and we are about 0.5%. So lots of, and this is both permanent disabilities as well as people have disabilities all the time in that sense, right? So there's a lot that we have to do in terms of, say, shifting some of these numbers in terms of diversity numbers, as well as, of course, then the larger thing that I told you about, having people in, but also making sure that Godrej is a place where everyone feels welcome, everyone feels included, everyone wants to dance at the party so that we can thrive together, right? I'm just going to give a very quick snapshot of some very exciting stories that are taking place as well. In about a month from now, the DEI Lab website will be up, so you can go and see all these stories up over there. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, etc., where we keep on posting. It's Godrej DEI Lab, that's the easy handle. And of course, if all of you are at GIL Chem, you are not following your own LinkedIn page, then you should do it. Last, it had 62,000 followers. Our aim this year is to go to 100,000 on LinkedIn and to do many other things. Is everyone following Godrej GIL Chem on LinkedIn? Okay, everyone else, you should do that right now as well. Okay, a very quick snapshot. This is, Godrej Properties is doing incredible work. We have Megha here who spearheaded some of this as well. And you can see whether it is in gender representation, whether it is in LGBTQ. By the way, in the previous slide, we said we have about 140 LGBTQ, about 125 are in Godrej Properties only. So we should we clap for that? It's really amazing. And very much now focusing on accessibility, persons with disabilities, not only hiring. So whether there's an all-inclusive model site which has women, PWD, LGBTQ, but also in producing communication to train others when our disabled talent comes on board, for example, how are they made to feel welcome. There's a great design team which is working on making accessible housing, for example. So really thinking about it from not just talent, but also product, service, offering, CSR, and so on. So it's very, very interesting. GCPL has recently announced, some of you might have read the news, that for a new plant in Tamil Nadu, they promised the Chief Minister that they would hire 50% women, 5% PWD and LGBTQ. And the Chief Minister was so happy that we got some money back and subsidies as well. So remember I said it makes us, it's good for society and it's also good for business. It's really happening. And GCPL is doing some very interesting work in that as well. And I think Godrej Industries, GIL Chemicals as well. I think we're going to see this video in a while from now. But it's super exciting because just this case study of how one goes from 4 to 40 at Ambernath is incredible. And also, can we just clap for us at GIL Chemicals? And it's counting. In a very, very difficult, in a very, very challenging field like chemicals as well. And, this is just a snapshot of what's happening at the group. But the context of this is that a lot of this is happening in India as well. So we are not about 10, 15 years when we started, maybe we were early. But now, honestly, we are trying to catch up with some of the good work that is happening all around us in India, as well as in other parts of the world as well. So I said DEI. In other parts of the world, they're talking about justice as well, which is another concept totally. We won't get into that right now. But it's actually very, very interesting. So we're, you name it, across industries, companies are understanding that, we have to do people, profit, planet. We have to take everyone. Honorable Prime Minister has said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And how do we do that if we don't think of inclusion as the lens through which all our decisions are taken as well? Let me see if this plays. This is an example of HUL, what they've done in Sumerpur.
सुना है सुमेरपुर बदल गया है। आओ देखें HUL की फैक्ट्री ने क्या परिवर्तन लाया है। भाई के हिस्से आई पढ़ाई, इसके हिस्से आई कढ़ाई। उम्र बढ़ी, बढ़ी महंगाई, पूरी नहीं पड़ती थी कमाई। बहन ने भाई का थामा हाथ, निकले कमाने दोनों साथ।
चल आज मेरे साथ चल।
सैलरी मिली है।
घर की आन, मोहल्ले की शान है ये, बोझ नहीं वरदान है ये। बहन की जब हुई विदाई, कर्जों की परछाई छाई। बाप के बोझ को कंधा लगाया, लगन और मेहनत से कदम जमाया। दौर खुशहाली का फिर लौट आया।
अरे बिटिया से नौकरी कराएगा का?
ये बेटी नहीं बेटा है मेरा।
मात पिता का अभिमान है ये, बोझ नहीं वरदान है ये।
एक और लड़की,
फिर
लड़की हुई है।
तेरी कोख में है दोष, कहने वाले आज हैं खामोश। बेबस हालातों से लड़कर जो खड़ी हुई अपने पैरों पर, करेगी फैसले निडर होकर।
नहीं, हम दहेज नहीं देंगे।
संस्कारी रहकर परंपरा को तोड़ा, अब खुद ही चुनेगी अपना जोड़ा। नए भारत की पहचान है ये, बोझ नहीं वरदान है ये। अब बोझ नहीं वरदान है ये।
बधाई हो,
बधाई हो,
बधाई हो,
बधाई हो।
बधाई हो, लड़की हुई है।
So we'll see our own video also, but we just wanted to share this to show how we are on this journey. We are part of an ecosystem. So many, as companies, we often compete in the marketplace, but in this space of inclusion, in this place of creating a better world, we collaborate with each other, we push each other, we help each other to become better and better. So before I hand it back, I just want to tell all of you how grateful I am that all of you have come. It's so amazing to see so much power, so much potential in one room. This is actually a very unique opportunity we have because we're in the middle of actually really imagining and making a new India. So if all of us together can combine, use our brains, use our networks, use the power of everything that we have within, Godrej Chemicals as well as the Godrej Group at large, and really think of inclusion as a lens of everything we do, starting with the people we hire, but then going on to everything else that we do as well. We can really transform our country and the world at this moment as well. So happy Women's Day, happy Women's Month, happy Women's Year. I'm so happy that our DEI Lab is supporting Godrej Chemicals and everyone else at Godrej on this journey as well. And I can't wait to work alongside all of you in creating this better India together. I hope you have a very good day. Make friends with each other. Make friends with people across the group. And let's go on this journey together. Lots and lots of love. I'll hand it back to Tejal, and then I know you have lots of things planned, including like a world premiere of a very special film.
Parmesh, your passion for equity and dedication to creating a change in our organization is truly commendable. Your presentation not only has educated us but ignited a renewed sense of commitment to advancing diversity and inclusion initiatives. Your contribution has made a significant impact, and I have no doubt that it will continue to inspire positive change in GILAC. Thank you so, so much, Parmesh. I would now like to welcome Mr. Nitin Nabar, Executive Director and President Chemicals of GIL, to say a few words. He has been a driving force behind GIL Chemicals. His leadership and advocacy has played a pivotal role in shaping our culture into one that celebrates and empowers women. Please, Nitin, sir. Yes.
Good morning. Happy Women's Day, Happy Women's Month, and Happy Women's Year. Thank you, Parmesh, for celebrating this Women's Year in this year, the year that I'm retiring. So I'm very happy that I'm retiring with great memories. So very, very happy to be here with you all today. The theme of women in manufacturing, I think I will always remember and cherish, because we were the first to hire a women employee in the plant, in a hardcore plant in manufacturing in 2013-14. And the experience was so encouraging that we went from 4 to 40 in just 17 months. And I hope if not 400, but at least 200 in a few more months. One dream that we had, and the executive committee, Vishal and BG are here, is that one day can we see one function or one plant to be handled entirely by women. I think if we do that, that will be a great success. There is another function which I've been always wanting to kind of look at, that it should be looked after by women, is working capital management and budgeting. And why I'm saying working capital management is because, have you ever seen that your mother, wife, or sister tells you that you go to office today with having tea without sugar because there is no sugar at home? So they manage the working capital extremely well. it's not only on a daily basis, but even when they have guests at home, I think we've kind of managed things, women manage things extremely well. So all the best for today's entire session. Look forward to the panel discussion, and congratulations once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nitin sir. I would now like to welcome Mr. Vishal Sharma, CEO GIL Chemicals, to come and say a few words. Vishal's leadership and vision will undoubtedly guide us into a future where gender equality and empowerment are not just aspirations but realities. Their commitment to fostering an inclusive workplace where every individual, regardless of gender, feels valued and supported aligns perfectly with the spirit of this day. Yes, welcome Vishal. You may please.
Thanks, Tejal. You can hear me? First of all, welcome everybody, particularly to, I think we have 60 or 70 women here. We were supposed to have more, so I don't know what went wrong. Some are expected to join us? No, is everybody from HO here? Or are they? No. So there are some people still sitting up there. Is Indrani here? Can you go up and check if everyone's here or not? And who was not there, just bring them over, please. That's not done. Everyone's got to be here. And we have Vali and Ambernath here. Okay. Because the original plan was that we'll have some people on Teams, but then we decided no, we want everybody here in person. And this is how we will do it in the future, always. Okay? Because if we really want to connect with each other, have a dialogue, make an impact, we got to be there in person. I understand the world has moved quite significantly to virtual, but I think in person is still the most impactful. So welcome everybody, first of all, okay? I think Parmesh's session was very, very good. What's the most important thing he said, you think? He said many important things. What are the one or two that you took away? Just pick up. Anybody? Jasmine wants to say something. Inclusion. So you like the inclusion part most. What else did he say? The way it was shown as equity, okay? Anything else? Sorry? Decision making, okay. What caught my attention was, and it's not new to me, and I'll tell you why shortly, what really caught my attention was it's not just, a good thing to do, it's the right thing to do. And for two key reasons. One is the right reason, which is, hey, the world's 50-50, why are we at GIL Chemicals at 14%? And we hit 14 from 11, so that's great progress, okay? Tejal will share soon what the targets for next year are. And towards the end, I'll take a few minutes more to talk about what our long-term objective is, right? But even at GILAC level, we are 37%. So there's way to go. And Parmesh spoke about that very clearly. But there's a second thing which we need to understand here. Remember that slide which Parmesh showed on innovation? Do you remember that? What are the two numbers you saw on the left side and right side? 26 and 45. So, it's not just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do from a business standpoint, okay? I think this needs to be clearly understood by all of us. It's not just the right thing for the world, for our communities, it's also the right thing to do for our business. So keep that in mind very clearly. My last 25 years is with largely multinational companies. I can tell you, Parmesh said that this is going across the world like sustainability. DE&I is everywhere today, everywhere. It is one of the most important initiatives that are being driven by organizations, by stock markets, by investors. So all of you would have heard of ESG, yeah, environmental, social, and governance. And investors are looking at companies' ESG ratings before they make investments. Similarly, investors are now also beginning to look at companies' DE&I numbers before they make investments there. And companies that are not good on the DE&I front will not get investments. Companies that are good will get investments. For two reasons. One, it's the right thing to do. Put pressure in every possible way to drive DE&I forward. But two, it's a smart thing to do because companies with high DE&I ratios will do well. And if you Google and check, you'll find enough studies that tell you the average stock market returns of companies with high DE&I levels are higher than those companies with low DE&I levels. Okay? So it's the good thing to do, it's the right thing to do, it's a smart thing to do. That's the key point I want to make here. So let me end with that. As I said, before we wrap up, I'm going to take 5 minutes more. It wasn't planned, but I told Tejal when I walked in that I'm going to take 5 minutes at the end. Because I kind of also want to set the tone for the future, for all of us, okay, as to where we are going to go. Back to you, Tejal.
Thank you, Vishal. Taking the enthusiasm ahead, as Parmesh already mentioned, we are thrilled and excited to share a significant milestone in our journey towards DEI. As we all are aware, in just last 1 year, we've seen a remarkable increase in the number of women in our chemicals and manufacturing factory at Ambernath, which was 4 to an impressive 40 women. To celebrate this milestone, our DEI Lab team has been working alongside GIL Chemicals team and the Lightbox GCPL team for the last 2 months to create a very special video, which we are publishing today. And let's have a look at it.
Diversity is in our DNA. Since inception, Godrej Chemicals has had a fair share of representation in enabling functions with regards to women. But there was always a dearth of women on shop floor. And we were able to increase our women representation on shop floor from 4 to 40 in just 17 months at our Ambernath factory.
मी गोदरेज 8 मंथ झाले जॉईन केलं आहे आणि मी गोदरेजमध्ये प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंटमध्ये काम करते. इथे आम्ही 11 मुलींची टीम आहे, जिथे आम्ही 19 to 26 एज गॅपपर्यंत आहेत मुली सगळ्या, जे आम्ही सगळ्या काम करतो फील्डवर आणि ऑन PLC ऑल्सो. ठीक आहे. आणि 19च्या इयर्सच्या मुली आहेत त्यांना डायरेक्ट कॉलेज पास आउट झाल्यानंतर लगेच जॉब लागला आणि खरंच खूप छान बातमी आहे, कारण की लगेच प्रोडक्शनमध्ये त्यांना आणि ते पण गोदरेजसारख्या कंपनीमध्ये काम करायला मिळतं आहे. माझ्या टायमिंगला ॲक्च्युलीमध्ये जेव्हा मी पासआउट केलं 2019मध्ये तेव्हा अशी ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी नव्हती आणि ॲक्च्युली मुलींना गोदरेज म्हणजे नाहीच आणि प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट तर बिलकुल पण नव्हतं. तर आता हे गोदरेजने जे पण म्हणजे प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंटमध्ये मुलींना घ्यायचं सीन काढलं ते खूप छान केलं ॲक्च्युली आणि मला खूप बरं वाटतंय.
There were 3 key investments that we made. One was in creating enabling infrastructure on our shop floors at the factories.
मी इकडे शिफ्टमध्ये काम करते. मी ते फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड असे 3 शिफ्ट करते. नाईटलाही असते. नाईटला असल्यानंतर मला इकडे लाईट आणि सायन्स असल्यामुळे कोणत्याही प्रकारचं काम करताना अडथळा येत नाही. त्याच्यानंतर इकडे हाऊसकीपिंग, कॅन्टीन आणि सिक्युरिटीमध्ये वुमेन्स असल्यामुळे काम करताना कॉन्फिडंट येतो.
असं मी खूप चेंजेस बघितलेत, म्हणजे लॉकर रूम्स झाले आहेत, चेंजिंग रूम्स आहेत, परत वॉशरूम्स वगैरे झालेत, परत फिमेल सिक्युरिटीज हायर केलेत, त्याच्यामुळे मुलींना सिक्युअर वाटतं इथे काम करायला. परत नाईट शिफ्टमध्ये मुली जेव्हा वर्किंग करतात तेव्हा लाईटिंग वगैरे प्रॉपर असते इथे, म्हणजे फील चांगलं वाटतं.
आम्ही 4 लेडीज आहे. आम्ही 3 शिफ्टमध्ये आम्ही सर्व शिफ्टमध्ये काम करतो आणि आम्ही सर्व म्हणजे महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे आम्ही प्लॅनमध्ये जाऊन राऊंड मारतो. राऊंड मारल्याच्या नंतर की लेडीजला विचारतो काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे का, काय अनकम्फर्टेबल असेल तर आम्हाला कळवा. आम्ही टाईम ऑफिस, सिक्युरिटी ऑफिसला आम्ही कळवतो काही प्रॉब्लेम असेल तर. त्याच्यानंतर आपल्याला एक लेडीज स्पेशल कार आहे इथे. पिकअप सेकंड शिफ्ट आणि नाईट शिफ्टला पिकअप ड्रॉपला जाते. त्यांच्यासोबत आपण एक सिक्युरिटी गार्ड पाठवतो, त्यांना घरापर्यंत सोडतो.
Second was in getting the talent right, in upskilling women via institute partnerships.
मी इथे गोदरेजमध्ये गेल्या 8 महिन्यांपासून आहे. त्याआधी मी गोदरेजमध्ये 2 महिन्याची इंटर्नशिप केली. त्यामध्ये मी डॉक्युमेंटेशन प्रॅक्टिसेस शिकले. त्यानंतर मी इथे असोसिएट म्हणून जॉईन झाले. त्यात मी MS ऑफिस टूल्स, पॅनल ऑपरेशन आणि ऑन साईट इन्स्पेक्शन या गोष्टी सगळ्या शिकले.
After pursuing my BTech in 2020, I was looking for opportunities to work in production, but at that time was a pandemic period, and added to that, no industry is giving opportunity to female employees to work in production. But when I came to know that Godrej is giving such opportunities, then I immediately applied for the position. Before that, I was working as a teacher in chemical engineering field, but looking for the opportunities to represent my knowledge, my techniques in production itself, to implement that theoretical knowledge in practical itself. So when Godrej has given me this opportunity, I feel very overwhelmed, and being a first SO, first female SO in Godrej, everyone was so caring, and from GM to every bottom line employee was very cared about me. And I had also gone through many medical sessions that regarding my health also, and my confidence level was enhanced by my team members. So I heartily thank Godrej for giving such opportunity to me.
Godrej, we strictly will follow the principles of responsible care, and which devoted to the person's health and safety. That's our first priority, as all we know that health is not only the absence of disease or illness, but it is a state of complete mental, social well-being of an individual. So we act here proactively, and we don't wait for them to come to us. We just identify the health hazards in the work environment. Accordingly, we have started doing the audiometry test, identified the areas where there is high noise area, and we are doing their audiometry tests periodically to ensure their auditory functions are kept normal.
And third was by curating culture which makes women feel inclusive when they come and work at shop floors.
ॲक्टिव्हिटीजमध्ये आमच्या इथे रंगोली कॉम्पिटिशन झालं दिवाळीमध्ये. परत ऑक्टोबरमध्ये जेव्हा गरबा होता त्यावेळेस गरबा कॉम्पिटिशन होता, ज्यात मी पार्टिसिपेट पण केलेलं, आणि आय इवन गॉट द प्राइज ऑल्सो. आणि आमच्या इथे स्पोर्ट्स पण झाले, ज्यात आम्ही सगळ्यामध्ये पार्टिसिपेट केले, मुलींनी पण मुलांनी पण. असं इथे काहीच हे नव्हतं की करू नाही शकत. आम्ही प्लांट सांभाळून आम्ही खेळायला पण जायचो. कॅरम आहे तिकडे, चेस आहे, बॅडमिंटन होतं, टेबल टेनिस होतं. तर मुली हवे तशा कोणत्याही गेम्समध्ये स्पोर्ट्समध्ये पार्टिसिपेट करू शकत होत्या.
I had incredible journey as one of the first women in GIL Chemicals Ambernath factory. Being a part of Godrej family, the progress over the time is truly remarkable for me. When we go back, it was a great transformation for me. I joined on contract, then on payroll, my maternity leave, resuming duties. It was very difficult and very adventurous for me. 2017, for 5 months I was in maternity leave, and when I was pregnant, so only 2 girls were there in the Ambernath factory, but I never feel like we 2 are women in factory. All my male colleagues support me. I feel very safe in between them.
We firmly acknowledge the challenges that our women employees face day in and day out being in the chemicals industry. So at GIL Chemicals, we've always believed and tried to build equitable practices that enables them to thrive continuously in their careers. One such practice is having an all-women employee resource group, which we called as Chemicals Network of Women, or SNE now. We try to conduct various professional and personal development sessions.
Every month we do have a grievance handling meeting with our women staff, where all women come together and they just raise their concern if they have. It's not like that they have to wait just for that one day. Anytime they can come and they can approach to me and they can raise their concern. Along with this, we do have hotline numbers. They can connect there as well, POSH hotline numbers. They can connect there as well. And we have given various kind of POSH training to our women staff, not only women staff, all our male staff, everyone, including our contractual workers as well.
We started an internship batch with 8 candidates, and now we have 40 females working with us in our Ambernath factory. While speaking to them, we understood that there is a lack of awareness in terms of their career paths and also the safety awareness. So we went ahead and we spoke to their families and the potential candidates in terms of how their career would look like at Godrej Industries Chemicals Division. And we also spoke to them about what are the facilities that we're going to provide to the female candidates while they will be working in all the 3 shifts.
We are looking for hiring a more women for our factory. We are also working actively for the same. One of the way in which we have done tie-up with the government colleges in and around the Ambernath that help us to increase our number year by year, and also that help us to join the young women whenever they complete their study. As a vision point of view, this is going to be a not a one-time activity, it's a continuous journey.
I'll not be shy in saying that Godrej Chemicals has been the pioneers in deploying women en masse on shop floor. But the journey has just begun, and our vision is to build a workplace which is 50% diversity representation, be it women, people with disabilities, or the LGBTQI community. Is it challenging? Yes, it is. Is it possible? Of course it is. We've shown how Godrej Chemicals has done it in the past at its Ambernath factory. Now it's time for us to learn from the industry and together build a more inclusive India.
Our sincere thanks to Parmesh and team, Apeksha, Devi, Sagar, and Aditi, and all those who helped make this a reality for all of us. Thank you so much. Let's have a huge round of applause once again. Moving on to the next segment, now we have the panel discussion, and we will explore stories, challenges, and successes of women breaking barriers in this industry. So let's dive into this important conversation with our esteemed panelists. The first panelist is Ms. Geetha B Srinivasa. She is joining the event through VC on Zoom with us. Geetha is a managing director of Ecolab India, which is the global leader in water, hygiene, and infection protection solutions and services that protect people and vital resources. In this role, Geetha is responsible for driving profitable growth and operational excellence for Ecolab's businesses in India. Prior to joining Ecolab in 2020, Srinivasa was the managing director of Praxair India. In her 14-year tenure with Praxair, she held a number of diverse roles, including the head of technology and marketing and business head of specialty gases. With almost 2 decades of experience, Srinivasa has held increasingly complex and impactful business-focused positions in diverse industries. She brings with her a wealth of expertise in international sales, business development, P&L management, M&A, and joint ventures. During her career, Srinivasa worked for Axo, Cortec, and Praxair in various business roles. Geetha has a degree in chemical engineering from RV College of Engineering, Bangalore, and holds executive management degree from IIM Kolkata and London School of Economics. We welcome Geetha for today's panel discussion. Do we have her online? Hi. Okay. The second panelist we have here today is Puneet Rajput. Puneet is the Chief Human Resources Officer of Piramal Pharma Limited. Welcome, Puneet. She comes with more than 2 decades of rich and diverse experience in pharma, telecom, life sciences, consulting industries. She's an experienced leader in aligning HR strategy with business strategy, diverse organization models, large and small scale M&A integrations, organization design and development, diversity and inclusion, digital HR, sustainability and CSR, and developing HR business teams and leadership teams. We are so happy to have you, Puneet. The third panelist we have today for the discussion is Vidyaprabha Wasdev. Vidyaprabha is the lead corporate security at Cognizant. She's a risk management professional, a mother of 2, and a cancer survivor. She started her journey around 2 decades ago at Reliance as the first lady security officer. She has worked in almost all domains of security and risk management. She is also a certified security practitioner, cross-domain auditor. She's trained in self-defense, a brown belt holder in unarmed combat. Currently, she's leading the physical security for Cognizant Coimbatore campus. Welcome, Vidya. Yeah, I would now also like to welcome Roshni S Iyer from our DEI Lab team, who will be the moderator for the panel discussion and who brings with her a wealth of expertise and passion for this important conversation which we will have today. Without further ado, let's give a very warm welcome to Roshni, Geetha, Puneet, and Vidyaprabha as they lead us through the discussion.
Thank you so much, Tejal, for that really warm introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here talking to you today. It's an honor for 2 reasons. One, because women in manufacturing is a very, very critical priority for all of us at Godrej across our group companies. The second reason that it's an honor is because over the last couple of days, curating questions for this panel discussion, I got to meet three really, really wonderful women, leaders whose stories have been deeply inspiring. So today's panel discussion is going to be about their stories. You'll find that it's not a direct link to the manufacturing world, but you'll find lessons that we can all take because they've each made very, very powerful choices. The very fact of bringing more women onto the shop floor means making choices, right? So I want to start with that. Geetha, can you hear us fine?
Yes, Roshni, I can hear you. Am I
Great.
audible?
Morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I want to start today with the power of choices. And Geetha, this was back in the late 90s. This was a software boom. You were growing up in Bangalore. You made this unconventional choice of choosing to become a chemical engineer. And I grew up close by. I'm from the south of India too. So I know the craze for software was really intense, right? And then I'm reading Geetha's profile and it says she chose to become a chemical engineer back then. And then I realized there's a little interesting anecdote around that. Geetha, could you please share with us how this choice happened?
Yeah, thank you, Roshni. It's a great question. Yeah, you're right, absolutely. 22 years ago, software was booming and practically every other person in Bangalore was taking up software because they were getting fancy jobs, placements were assured or guaranteed. So when I finished my 12th, everybody were expecting that I would get into software as well. For me, chemistry and applications of chemistry in technology and how chemistry played a role in manufacturing was very fascinating. So I had a natural inclination towards chemistry, and I spoke to people at that stage, what are the careers or what are the education fields that I can really pursue with chemistry as the core subject. And really nobody encouraged me at that time. They'd say, oh my God, you'll have to go work in factories if you choose chemical engineering. It didn't really create a barrier in my mind because for me, it was about how do I pursue chemistry as my core and applications of chemistry. So the natural choice was chemical engineering. Everybody was shocked. My family was disappointed. However, I kept low. I spoke to a few chemical engineers. It reinforced my passion for chemical engineering. So the day we went for counseling, that is when we had to choose my engineering seat, I kept quiet. My parents thought I'm definitely going to take software. I kept quiet, lied low about it. And when my turn was there, I said, RV College Chemical Engineering. There was a free seat available. I said, that's what I want. My mom was stunned. She didn't speak to me for 2 days after that. So it was really about what I wanted to learn and educate myself about. Job was never a driver for me at that stage. I never looked at what kind of employment will I get. I just wanted to follow what I loved, and that's how I chose chemical engineering at that stage. Yeah, it was very unconventional, but I was lucky. We were a batch of 20, 25 girls out of choice, not because we didn't get software, we landed there. So I think it was just about what I loved, and that's where I chose it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. More power to us women who make choices because it's what we want to do, right? Versus saying that the society has drawn these boundaries and we can't do it. And you're all actually a living testament to that. And here's one more lady right next to me. Vidya, this was, again, 2 decades back, early 2000s. She grew up in faraway Kerala. And she responds to this advertisement which says, looking for security officers. What did it take? Because this was from Reliance. And she went on to become the first woman security officer at their Jamnagar plant. And this was, again, 2 decades back, right? So imagine how it was. And we saw 2 videos today, and we did see women security officers there. But back then, there weren't any. So what did it take to make a choice when you didn't see these role models out there? How did you convince your parents? What were your first few years like at the plant?
Thank you for this question. And so back in 2004, when I saw this particular advertisement from Reliance, like they are looking for fresh graduates as trainee security officers, nowhere it was mentioned that whether female can apply. So there was a confusion. Even my parents were having, or the other mentors were having, like whether you can apply it or not. I said nowhere it's written that female cannot apply. So let me try out that. I was very keen to join in armed forces, especially Indian Army. So that's a separate story that I'm a recommended candidate for Indian Army, but I couldn't make it to the merit list. And I was working as a girl cadet instructor in NCC battalion in Kerala. That's when I saw this fax and I applied for it. And I topped in the merit list. After the written test, we were having the physical endurance tests, then the psychometric test, the group discussion. It was a series of, tough selection process they were having. And I topped in the merit list at Pan-India level. And I joined there along with 40 other male candidates in their academy. Obviously, as you were mentioning that my parents were, little worried, like I have to come to Mumbai alone with other male candidates, complete the training. There will not be any outpass for the entire 1 year. These things were already mentioned in the joining letter. But when my father reached Mumbai to drop me at Lodi Valley, the academy was there then. After speaking to the instructors and the managers, he was quite sure that I'm in safe hands, and she told me that it seems to be a safe place, so I can drop you and go back. So that's how he dropped me there. The training itself was a little tough along with the male candidates because there were no female standards for any physical, activities over there. So I had to do whatever physical activity the boy is doing in the same standard, whether it is running or it's long jump or it's marathon, everything I was competing with them. But somehow I finished it in a very decent or nice way, and I got my first posting in Jamnagar in 2005. So when I reached there, though I was the only one in security, the entire woman population was very less, like you can, count on your fingers. It was not an easy job, but the support from management was, it's uncountable. Because I remember the first day when I landed in Jamnagar, our then boss, he called up for a town hall. We were around 80 security officers. I'm the only one in the hall, and he was talking to this male officers, telling that now we have one girl in our team, so you should be really careful even when uttering a word. Because there are differences when the gents population is there, when they are talking, and there is a female, there is a difference, you understand, right? So that is the point when you feel like that somebody is there to care about you. Somebody is including you. That's how he is giving that, message. So obviously the management support was good. Coming to the basic facilities, sometimes I felt like, in the initial years, the basic facilities like restroom for a female, it was not there. I used to share it with, it used to be a male washroom. After I reaching it there, it became a common washroom because I'm also using that. So it took few years because the design itself was like that. When 94, 95, then when they constructed that building, nobody thought that a female will be coming there and sitting. So, but now it has changed a lot. In Reliance, I could say that there are production managers who are females, plant managers who are females. So we have came a long way.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that, Vidya. Now we move to the organization context, and this is important for us, right? And we have the executive committee of GIL Chemicals here. I think a lot of these choices that both Geetha and Vidya have made have been possible because of organizations which took the right choices, right? So I have with me Puneet, who spent over 2 decades in the HR function. Today she leads HR for Piramal Pharma, which has over 20 global manufacturing facilities. Puneet, what I want to ask you is this. When you mention that you want to bring more women to the shop floor in production roles, what's the reaction like? The second part of this question is that what's the difficult part, right? Is it the start that's difficult? Is it the sustenance that's difficult? Take us through this journey, please.
Sure, thank you. And thank you for the invite here. It's always a pleasure to come and learn and share thoughts, so I'm quite excited to be here. I think the start is always difficult, but I would always say that sustenance is the most difficult because there's a lot of enthusiasm. Once you've got through the initial barrier, of how to really do it, because everybody has a lot of enthusiasm when you want to do it. But when you have kind of crossed that initial barrier and you've kind of set up the infrastructure, you've looked at having skill development programs, you've actually hired women on the shop floor, the challenges actually start from there. Because that's when the ecosystem has to support not just the hiring of the women, but actually helping them stay, grow, thrive in that environment, and that takes a lot of effort. It's not just about unconscious bias or sensitization trainings. It's not just about washrooms. It's also about helping women grow in their careers. I remember when we actually started some of these programs, we had to actually get family sensitization done. We invited women and their families to actually come to the shop floor and experience what it would be like spending those hours on the shop floor. And it was not just the women employee, it was also the families, because in India, the families do play a very big role in taking these decisions. From a long-term standpoint, I think having a sense check on what is actually happening on the floor, it may not be a posh-related issue. It might just be, how am I feeling included in decision-making every day? Is my voice heard? Are my opinions kind of considered before decisions are taken? Those little elements also matter. And once you've kind of got to that element, there is a lot more that you have to work around actually helping the women stay and grow and thrive in the environment. I'm just fresh from what we call as the immersion at Piramal, which is our foundation works with the aspirational districts in India. And when we look at some of our factories across companies, and I really like the thought of what Parvesh said, that it's about collaboration. This is a space where we don't compete with each other. In fact, we've been working a lot with HUL as well. But when you look at factories actually in the interiors of India, the challenges are very, very different. I've just come back from Rajasthan in a district called Sirohi, which is one of our aspirational districts of India. Let me tell you, in one of the tribal villages where it took me about 40 minutes in a Thar kind of a car to get there, the challenge there was not about getting the children educated or the women not wanting to work. It was about basics of electricity, water, and therefore, how do you look at these kind of people coming to the workforce? Now, if you want those women to come to the factories, right, are the policies progressive? I'll give you an example again. So the children, there's a government school. The children go to the school, but they also have to do wheat cutting, they also have to do sheep grazing, they also have to do work which is for sustenance. Now, you cannot measure attendance in a true sense for them as coming to school every day. The eldest child in the house has to take care of the younger children. So what do? So then there is an innovation saying, okay, get the younger children to the school as well. So there are challenges which are very, very real in the community. And if you want to make these programs really last and make an impact in the society, then we need to go out there and understand what are the challenges of the community and then bring them. Because the environments we create in our shop floors is controlled, but what happens in the community is not controlled. Without that connection between the community and the shop floor, wherever it is, in whichever part of India or outside of India, that connection with the community is very, very important.
Thank you, Puneet. Some very, very powerful thoughts there for all of us to take back and work on. Geetha, I'm going to come next to you on the organization's role again. You've, a major part of your career has been in sales and, P&L roles. And again, this was back then, right, early 2000s, and you in fact mentioned that after you came back from your maternity break, you went to handle a new sales region. So if you could take us through some of the choices you made and what the organization did right in your sales stints. The next part of this question is that you are the managing director today, and as much as I don't like to say woman MD, I'm going to, because I want to know, after you reach there, right, after you're the one calling the shots, does life become easier? Is life any different for a woman MD versus your male counterparts? And we'd like to know, what can organizations do? Because if it's not the case, what can organizations do to get that right? Because I think having more women in leadership is a priority, not just for companies like us. I mean, it's across the country. So could you tell us more on both of these, please?
Sure. Thanks, Roshni. There's really nothing like a woman MD or a male MD, but I'll address the first part of it. I think as Puneet mentioned, right, the ecosystem is super important, that not just we build, but also the organization the organization needs to provide. I think I've been very fortunate to work for organizations which realized importance of DEI 2 decades ago. Be it AkzoNobel, where I got hired as a graduate engineer trainee, where they provided me the ecosystem to thrive where I really want to. I chose sales at that point of time. In fact, I was advised or counseled by one of the managers then who said, you have a spark in sales, so why don't you look at it? So it starts from identifying the talent, right? And that's where leaders make a big impact. Sometimes we think we are great at something and we get into it. There's also imposter syndrome, which prevents us from identifying our true potential. And that's where leaders have played a big role in my life. One such leader is also sitting there, Vishal, who was my last manager. They play a big role in identifying our potential and, telling us that, hey, you really not explored this. So for me, it was that start where that's how I stepped into sales 22 years ago. And then, who look at your potential and take their chances. And why I'm saying this is this goes back to a story in, I was doing sales. I got back after maternity. I thought, sales is my landing and I have to continue there. At that point, one of my managing directors of Praxair called me one evening and said, hey, I want you to move to Calcutta. There's a great role. It's been the region's loss making for us over the last decade. I really want you to go and turn it around. For a moment, I was shocked. I thought was this like a punishment posting? I thought, I'm from South. All through I've lived there. You suddenly want me to go to the East and turn it around? I have no clue how East runs culturally, right? And he said, no, it's a double promotion. I was like, yeah, are you trying to get me out of corporate? He said, think about it. My first response was no. I said, no, I don't think I can move. He said, okay, no problem, but I do want to tell you that you do a fantastic job if you take it, he said. 2 days I was reflecting upon it and I was feeling an urge that, hey, if they've reached out, there's something that I am missing, right? I can't be 100% right and the other person is 100% wrong. I did go back to him after 2 days and I said, yeah, I want to take it. He said, what happened? I said, no, I just want to give it a try. You have so much confidence that I will do it. I do want to test my limits and I want to take it. They built such a strong ecosystem for me because I had a 5-year-old son and I had to move with my family there. They made sure that I was being heard. They gave me a buddy who I could talk to and she was from HR. So basically it was all about me able to share my emotions and the organization kind of built a support system there for me. And they also built scenarios. What if she fails? What do we need to do to support her? Right? So year and a half later, really turned that region around. And I can't be more grateful because I think they pushed me to challenge my own belief system. And that to me was a great turning point, right? So I think it is about being inclusive, taking chances. As leaders, we owe that. We have to identify talent and also tell them that, hey, this is what I believe is your true potential, right? And help them believe in themselves. That happened to me way back. And since then, I've seen that every time that the organization has come to me with a very challenging or different role, which I did not believe I could do, I have thrived. On your second part of the question is, what does it take for a woman MD? Our challenges are different. I don't say that, we have more challenges than a male MD. I would say both have their own challenges. It's just that our challenges are different. And the organizations are aware, the ones who are very progressive and want to see women leaders, more women in leadership, are cognizant and aware of these challenges. Like, for example, right, for me, I'll just talk about myself. I don't have the time for networking. I can't go around into CEO forums and build my network. While a lot of my mentors told me it's crucial, look at the men, they always spend time. Hey, my challenges are different. I have a 16, 18-year-old son and I need to spend time with him. For me, managing my kitchen, ensuring everything goes well is priority after I finish work. Right? So those are my challenges. And suddenly, if I'm asked to relocate to another region, I may not jump to it saying a yes. I am going to reflect, take my time, how I'm going to build my ecosystem because my support system is very important. These are some of the challenges that we face differently. And two parts to it. The organization needs to be aware, not that they have to go out of their way to support us because it's a level playing field, but as long as they are cognizant and willing to be flexible. For example, early on in my sales career, traveling to places like Hubli, etc., I would bend the rules and say, I will not stay in 2-category hotels or what the limit prescribes because I don't feel safe. And I would reach out to HR and say, please give me flexibility to stay in places that I consider safe. I would choose a certain type of cab service companies, not Ola's. At that point of time, Ola's were a little risky for me, versus an Uber, which was possibly more expensive, or with a renowned cab service provider, because that made me feel safe. So these were things that the organizations flexed for me in terms of supporting for me to feel safe. And that's what I think even Puneet was referring to in terms of the ecosystem. Now, do I really call the shots today? I don't think any of us can call the shots just because we've become MDs. It's a collective collaboration, teamwork, right? With power comes a lot of responsibility. So for me, it's more important that I'm always more cautious about, hey, what decisions am I making? Because we are setting an example. There are going to be 10 other women looking at us, and we are going to leave a legacy behind in the right or the wrong way based on the decisions we make. So I do take an extra step to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. And what can organizations do to really get more women MD? I think the woman MD is a lagging indicator. For me, it's about how you sow the seeds, how you make the whole ecosystem right so you have more women coming in at the entry level, how you groom them, how you support them at the most crucial time. For me, my most crucial time was when I was expecting my child. I was in sales. I could not travel. I had all the first trimester, second trimester challenges, right? Like everybody does. At that point of time, my managing director walked up to me and said, why don't you do 1 year in procurement? You won't believe it. It was like relief. It was like giving oxygen to me at that time. But I was nervous. Will I ever get back to sales? He said, you can get back to sales whenever you want. I'm not going to backfill your role, right? I'm forever grateful that man earned my loyalty for 14 years in that company, right? I got back 91st day because that time maternity was just 3 months. 91st day, I walked back to his office. I said, thank you so much, John, for helping me. Can I get back to sales now? He said, take it easy, 6 more months. You're going to have a challenging time bringing up your child. Get back after 6 months. And I got back after 6 months. So I'm saying it's that crucial time when it matters the organization needs to support. And after that, it's a level playing field. The same skills, same competencies, same impact that we need to make. Yeah.
Thank you, Geetha. Thanks a lot. A lot to unpack there for us as the organization, but I think also for women in the audience. I think a lot of the choices are about asking for support too, right, and making the right choices there. Vidya, we heard Geetha talk about how the hardest time for her was her maternity and the way the organization supported her then. A lot of women, I think this is what happens, right? You look at data. The drop from the workforce happens during these major life transitions, right? With marriage, with childbirth, and then so on. For you, there was this additional thing of the cancer that came in. What I want to hear is that through these phases, and again, because it's learning for us at the organization, the HR teams here too, right? The leadership teams here. How do we support women through these phases? And take us through also, because you gave me interesting notes on how you continued working during your cancer therapy. Take us through what it was like for you and for the organization, because it helps us, I think being a caring organization is at our core too. So during both and again for a security officer who's literally, I mean, some of us get to sit during the day, right? You're actually walking around the plant the whole day. So what was your maternity journey through like, and how did the organization support you? And take us through a bit of what this journey was like.
So as a woman, the first turning point or major milestone comes when she get married, where the organization itself start thinking like whether after marriage, obviously she is going to have kids and whether she will stay back or leave. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm married to someone who is in the same field, same organization and the same place where he was posted. So that was not a big deal on a career side. But personal front, it was a little challenging because our story is also like Chetan Bhagat's 2 states. So I'm a Keralite and he's a Punjabi. So personal front, yeah, that challenge was there. Coming to the maternity, in 2010, we blessed with a baby girl, and obviously 84 days was the maternity leave which was allotted. So the baby who is yet to finish her 3 months, leaving her behind with a caretaker back to the manufacturing site. Why I'm emphasizing manufacturing side, it's not a desk job, right? You have to be on the field, and being a security professional, physical fitness is also very important. Every 6 months we used to have physical endurance test, which includes running, swimming, jumping, and a lot of stuff. So maintaining that was a challenge. But the best part was the organization side, which I got is I was allowed to go home in between for feeding my baby. So obviously the manufacturing sites are having the township over there. So I could go and feed her. So that is something which emotionally even the company is thinking about you. The leadership is thinking about you. Okay, she's having a baby, she's a new mother, so that should be there. So that empathetical thinking was there. So that helped me a lot. 2014, I had my second baby, but I was in Mumbai, so going in between was not possible. But again, by that time, you are a little more emotionally, strong. This is my second baby, so you know that how to manage all those things. But still struggled, obviously, at that point in time as well. Then came the, big monster, which is cancer. In 2019 was really the toughest time for me and my family. And obviously, my small kids, my son was like just 4.5 at that point in time when I got diagnosed. It took little time for us to accept that I'm a stage 3 cancer patient. I undergone surgeries, chemotherapies, targeted therapies, and radiations here in Mumbai, Sir HN Hospital, HN Reliance Foundation Hospital. Doctor told me to take a sabbatical, maybe 6 months or 8 months till the time you undergo the peak of the, this treatment. But I took a decision that no, I'll go to office. So after the chemotherapies, obviously your body is really low. You are not able to stand for a few days. You are not having food, and there are a lot of, side effects. I don't know how many of you are aware. Hair fall is something everybody knows that, okay, hair will go off after chemotherapy. But beyond that, what's happening to the body, that only the person who is going through can understand. Sometimes your nose bleeds because a lot of chemicals are going to your body. My skin started peeling off, my nails started coming out. I'm in full pains. But I used to think in the every day night that if tomorrow morning I'm able to stand, I'm going to office. So 2-3 days I used to be on the bed. 4th day or the 5th day, whenever I'm feeling good, I put on my wig and I go to office. And very near people only came to know that I'm, a cancer patient and the treatment is going on, because I used to respond to all the calls and mails and everything. So other department people came to know very late that I was undergoing this. The support which I got from management is, they were very accommodative. They provided me with a vehicle separately for my pick and drop. Then the interaction with people. As a security professional, I am supposed to interact with the top to bottom, everyone, whether it's a contract unskilled worker coming or it's the leadership. But I almost reduced or stopped the interaction or going out in an environment for a round or anything. I used to work from my office only. So that inclusiveness which the management understood and given to me, that was a great help. And obviously the family support, that is very, very important at this point. It's not only the organization or the career. You are a mother, you are a daughter, you are a wife. So support, including my 4.5-year-old son, which provided to me. He used to come to me and ask me, Mama, when I can sleep with you now? Because I used to be, isolated in a room because of my immunal issues. Your chemotherapy is going on, so you cannot be out and mingle with everyone. But he used to come to me and tell that you will be okay in few days and I'll come and sleep with you. So that was his thing, when he can sleep with me. The elder daughter, she was having some other ambitions, like, okay, when she can come and, teach me something. So everybody is having their own expectations. So that is something which drive you also through such times. So yeah, management support, family support, then the willpower which we are having inside, that what you want to achieve. Maybe I would have taken a sabbatical and sit at home, but no, I choose to go to work because that was my passion, working and becoming something. Because at the end of the day, what it matters is whether you are achieving the goals which you really want to. So the route is obviously important, the road is really important, but the destination is, I think, more important.
So powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you, Vidya. Such really powerful stories of resilience, right? So much for us to learn from. Puneet, I'll take my last question to you. We heard two really shining examples of women making the right choices, but also the organization creating that enabling ecosystem for them, right? Do you have any stories to share over these 2 decades of similar examples?
Lots of stories, and I can go on for the whole day, but we don't have the time, so I'm going to pick 2 metaphors. So one is, again, a story way back, I would say about 10 years ago, as a young budding HR professional, very enthusiastic about diversity and inclusion, I was interacting with a group of women in one of our manufacturing sites. And we'd hired this group of interns, and they obviously moved to the full-time roles. And one of those young women said something so powerful to me, which has stayed with me till today. She said to me that I want to be known, or I want to be growing in the organization because I'm capable of the position, not because I'm a woman. And that stayed with me for, even today. So as we look at D&I policies, as we look at creating the culture, as we look at hiring more women and helping them grow in the organization, the culture of meritocracy is absolutely important, because I think nobody wants to be known that I got promoted because I'm a woman. I got promoted because I am capable of doing the role. And I think as we create that ecosystem again, or those policies and infrastructures, we need to consciously keep that in mind, because when we talk about biases or we talk about acceptance in different positions, roles, these are some of the newer nuances that come to light, right? It's no more about just gender differences. So that's one. The second is obviously, I think, the programs, any of these initiatives, just like we have cycles in business, these initiatives also go through cycles. There will be roadblocks, there will be setbacks, there will be certain things that you never anticipated. You can't draw it all on a chart paper. So there will be real life instances which might create a setback. How do you kind of go on with that initiative despite the setback is another thing where the leadership team really needs to come together and resolve. It's not about saying it failed because of this or that, but sometimes I've seen an initiative also go back almost 3 years, right? And it could just be one issue at the site, wherever. It could be corporate office, sales, it could be manufacturing, it could be one simple issue that can take the entire work that has been done maybe 3 or 4 years backwards. But again, rebuilding from there, first of course is prevention, but everything in life is not controlled. So really rebuilding from there and taking it forward is the second important thing. Third, I think, is creating, when you're creating, again, ecosystems, like I said in the earlier example, go back in the community to understand what are the challenges on the ground level. It's not a peanut butter spread. So what works in one part of the country may not work in the other part of the country. What works in one part of the organization will not work in the other part of the organization. So there are certain things which are common from a culture intent standpoint, but the solutions to get there could be multifold and will need that little bit of centralization versus decentralization. So those are a couple of stories, but success stories are multiple. And I think the last one, maybe a best practice that I'd like to share, is something that we've started, is looking at, most of our policies start with maternity leave and what happens after that. We've gone a step back to say what happens when women actually first announce that I'm pregnant. That's the point. How do you break the news to your leadership? How do you plan for maternity? How do you plan for even adopting parents? And this journey starts there. The journey starts from those 8 months back, not at the time of saying, 2 months I'm going on maternity leave. It's not that. It's go back and work on those, again, creating that system for people to be comfortable with this and helping the women in that particular transition. Same with the adopting parents. We have a lot of those cases as well now in society where people are more open for adoptions. And then, of course, how do you deal with, again, unfortunate situations where people go through loss of a baby? How do you deal with those people who come back from leave in the real situation? So if you look at each topic, it can just go into a lot of details if you really, really want to make a difference beyond a policy and a paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Puneet. Thanks a ton. Do we have any questions from the audience for our panelists? Tejal, are we doing okay on time? Could we take a couple of questions if there are? Is there someone? Do I see a hand up? No. Okay, then may I ask one final question to them? Geetha, will again start with you. you can see the audience, I presume. You'll see a lot of women here who've actually come down from our plans for this event today. What's your word of advice for them from your career? If there's one thing that you had to tell them that they can keep close to their heart, and then Vidya and Puneet, I'll also request the two of you to do that, that you want them to hold close to their heart as they build their careers with us at Godrej.
Yeah, Roshni, I would say there is so much discussions on DEI because the organizations today firmly believe we bring in different set of strengths and values and outcomes, right? So I don't think it's really fair for us to compare ourselves with our male colleagues because we are different, we bring in different strengths. I think being your authentic self and bringing that authentic self to workplace is very important. So believing in your strengths and not necessarily comparing how your colleagues really act and perform is important. For that, you've got to have a dream and an ambition and leave a legacy behind every role that you do, and every day that you step out of work, leave a legacy behind. That will really be your signature. And this whole DEI journey is more impactful when we bring in our authentic self and the impact we are able to create. Yeah, I really want to thank Godrej Industries and Roshni for this opportunity. That's how I would sign off with this.
I would just say speak up, right? You already have a leadership team here who's very enthusiastic, very committed to the cause, but obviously nobody is a mind reader. So if there is something that is on top of your mind, speak up because the platform is there. And I'm sure the team will do the right things to make things happen here.
Vidya, what you?
So I would say, she's just pouring monies and yeah, so I would say that update yourself, upskill yourself, be future ready. Not just because we are women, because we are in a VUCA world. We don't know what's going to happen in future. So be future ready, and the world is very competitive, and now we may think that there is reservations for women, and in the name of diversity, inclusion, women are getting some seats here and there. Please don't look at those seats. Stop looking at it. Be yourself ready to compete with your male counterparts, and earn those seats with your skills and competitiveness. You have seen, I think Mr. Parmesh have displayed something. You have seen other 2 category percentage. So there are other minorities for which we have to open the doors. So that's one advice which I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been such a fantastic conversation. I've learned so much. I hope you've all enjoyed this conversation too. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you so much. This was an insightful discussion around the topic that we are touching today, which is women in manufacturing. So thank you, Puneet, Vidya, and Geetha for joining us today. Moving on to the next segment. Now we have our own stories of GIL Chemicals. We have 5 women for our factory who are here and who are going to share their experiences and stories. So I would request Devi to take the lead here. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So now we have our internal stories from GIL Chemicals, and for this may I first request Neha Tawade. She is a shift in charge and she works in the production department, and she's from the Ambernath. So she's the first women shift in charge for Ambernath. So may I please have Neha.
Hello, a very good morning to all. I am Neha Tawade. The journey working in manufacturing starts when you select chemical engineering. When I was in schooling, I decided I want to do the hardest engineering. When I Google it up, chemical engineering starts the second. So I decided that I want to go for chemical engineering. During the middle period, when results are declared and we are waiting for the cap rounds allotment, I contacted with people who are colleagues then in society. So they were like, why you want to go for chemical engineering? You should go for IT or computer. Chemical engineering is not for women. Males can do it better than women. I spoke up with my father. Then he told one line, I know you can do it, go ahead. So I took admission in chemical engineering. When I went in the classroom, in the batch of 62, 8 were the girl candidates. Then when practical sessions, between the 15 batch, 2 were the females. So then I decided that I am in a different field and I want to prove myself here. Engineering was going good. My last paper, semester exam, last paper was remaining, and suddenly a news has been flashed, lockdown has been declared. So for that environmental studies exam, we have to wait for 4 months. And unfortunately, all campus drives, everything was collapsed. No campus placement for university has been provided because that was period of pandemic. Then I joined Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University as a professor in chemical engineering department itself. I worked there for 2 years. During that time, I was the training and placement cell of college was giving opportunity for students for campus placement and all that purpose. I was searching for myself also where I am getting the opportunity because I was like, we are doing McCap-Thiller method, writing 3 pages for just getting 5 marks, then where we are going to implement it. So I was, from starting I was interested or willing to what I have gained theoretically to implement in practically. Then suddenly I came across the advertisement that Godrej is hiring for female employees. But initially that was for diploma candidates. Then I am in contact with Devi ma'am. So if I called her and said, if there is any recruitment for female candidates on BTech or BE basis, please let me know. I am interested to apply. After 6 months, I had saved her number and she has put up on her status that Godrej is hiring for female candidates and she can be a B or BTech in chemical engineering. I was so happy. I immediately called her and ma'am, I'm interested where to share the CV because for that opportunity I had waited for 2 years. Then my interview has been scheduled and through all that process I had joined in Godrej Chemicals, Ambernath. I'm a single lady in my AOS plant. In shifts also I feel very safe and secure because in night shift also there are 22 male employees are working with me and I'm a single lady. But I don't feel any botherness or anything else. I feel very safe and secure and doing my regular activity as it is. The working environment is so safe and friendly. Everyone is very supportive. Added to that, my team members are also encouraging me to show my talent or show what I can do. So recently, from last 3 months, I'm also leading the 5S zone for my AOS team under guidance of my manager and my team. So I heartily thank Godrej for giving such an opportunity to me and all the female employees present over here and wish all the very best for all female employees. Go ahead and do what you want. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha. Thanks for sharing that wonderful story. And I would also like to bring that point that we were hiring from diploma colleges and Neha was working as a teacher there, and then she applied for the job. And we have 2 teachers who are working from that college and school, and they have applied here. And now they are working with us at the senior position. Now we have Akshada. So we had this GDP plant that we hired women for working in the production department. So one of them is Akshada, and Akshada is a diploma chemical engineer, and she works in a production department at Ambernath. Over to you, Akshada.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Akshada Jadhav. I am from Kalwa. I have completed my diploma in Zondole College, Dombivli. माझा डिप्लोमा कंप्लीट झाल्यानंतर मी QCमध्ये 1 इयर जॉब केला कारण प्रोडक्शनमध्ये तेव्हा मुली घ्यायच्या नाहीत. मग त्यामुळे मी QCमध्ये जॉब केला. QCमध्ये जॉब केल्यानंतर मग मला म्हणजे स्टेटस मी बघितलं देवी मॅमचं असं की प्रोडक्शनमध्ये मुली हायर करतात. त्यामुळे मग मी तेव्हा तिथे जॉब म्हणजे ट्राय केलं, इंटरव्ह्यूज दिला. मग तेव्हा 2 महिन्याची इंटर्नशिप केली. इंटर्नशिप केल्यानंतर मग आम्हाला जॉबसाठी हे केलं, हायर केलं. मग आता तिथे वर्ष झालेलं आहे आम्हाला. आम्ही GDPमध्ये 11 जणी टोटली काम करतो आहे. छान वाटते काम करून. तेव्हा इंटर्नशिपमध्ये मुलं बोलायचे की मुलींना वॉल वगैरे हँडल करायला असं होणार नाही. बट आता आम्ही 11 जणी, आमची टीम, आम्ही अख्खा GDP प्लांट सांभाळतो आहे. खूप छान वाटतं आहे. थँक्यू फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्च्युनिटी.
Thank you, Akshada. Now we have Neha Tiwari from our logistics department from Walia. Again, our first female women employee at Walia plant in logistics department. Over to you.
So, hello everyone. Myself Neha, and I am working in Walia factory, Ankleshwar, Walia. So, मैं वहाँ पे लॉजिस्टिक्स डिपार्टमेंट में काम करती हूँ. और वहाँ मुझे जब हायर किया तब मुझे ये बताया गया कि आप 30 इयर्स में पहले फीमेल एम्प्लॉय हो. तो ये चीज़ सुन के काफ़ी शौक लगा कि 30 साल में एक भी लड़की को नहीं लिया यहाँ पे. पर कॉन्फिडेंस ये था कि हाँ मुझसे हो जाएगा और मैं कर लूँगी. फिर उसके बाद मैंने ज्वाइन किया और देखा कि मेरे डिपार्टमेंट में 33 मेल एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं लॉजिस्टिक्स में. और वहाँ पर ऐसा बिल्कुल भी एनवायरनमेंट नहीं है कि आपको फील होगा कि हाँ आप अनकंफर्टेबल हो, आप लड़की हो तो आप नहीं कर पाओगे. क्योंकि लॉजिस्टिक्स ऐसा है जहाँ पे आपको फील्ड में भी जाना पड़ता है, गोडाउन में भी जाना पड़ता है, प्लांट में भी जाना पड़ता है. और उस चीज़ को लेके मुझे मेरे मैनेजर्स, मेरे कलीग्स, वर्कर्स सबसे इतना सपोर्ट मिला, इतना ज़्यादा. मुझे ऐसा बिल्कुल फील नहीं हुआ कि हाँ मेरे लिए ये काफ़ी चैलेंजिंग रहेगा या मुझे सपोर्ट नहीं मिलेगा. मैंने जैसे ज्वाइन किया, मुझे आज 1 साल होने वाला है और इस चीज़ में मैं बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया है कि हाँ मैं अब कहीं भी जा सकती हूँ. और इवन फील्ड वर्क भी हम जाते हैं तो कभी भी ऐसा फील नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि वहाँ पे हेल्पर्स होते हैं, जो भी है सुपरवाइजर्स होते हैं, पर कभी ऐसा फील नहीं हुआ कि हाँ मैं इनसिक्योर हो रही हूँ या मुझे अनसेफ फील हो रहा है. काफ़ी अच्छा वर्क कल्चर है, बहुत अच्छा इन्वायरमेंट है. और एक्चुअली मैं जिस जगह से बिलोंग करती हूँ, इट्स बिहार, तो वो ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे लड़कियों को इतना सपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं, स्पेशली जॉब के लिए तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. और वैसे तो सेटल्ड मैं गुजरात में ही हूँ, मेरा बॉर्न एंड बर्थ यहीं का है, लेकिन मेरे पेरेंट्स जिन्होंने मुझे बहुत सपोर्ट किया, और जब मैंने उनको बताया कि मैं गोदरेज में मुझे ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है कि मैं वहाँ पे लॉजिस्टिक्स डिपार्टमेंट में काम करूँगी, तो उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि मतलब फीमेल एम्प्लॉय कोई है या नहीं है. तो मैंने बोला कि नहीं, हम 33 मेल एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, उसमें मैं अकेली हूँ. तो उन्हें थोड़े से लिटिल वरीड थे कि हाँ मतलब कैसे करेगी. पर आज कभी मतलब एक फीमेल वो हुआ था, ये फैमिली गेट टुगेदर हुआ था, वहाँ पर मैंने मेरे पेरेंट्स को मिलवाया सबसे, और वो लोग इतने ऐसे रिलैक्स हो गए कि हाँ काफ़ी फ्री है ये यहाँ पे काम करने में. और उनको भी आज इतना प्राउड फील होता है कि हाँ मैं इतनी बड़ी कंपनी में हूँ. मेरे लिए मतलब चैलेंजिंग थोड़ा बहुत था, मैं कहीं पे जाती हूँ तो भी किसी को प्राउडली बोल सकती हूँ कि हाँ मैं गोदरेज में जॉब करती हूँ. और वो सब इतने इंस्पायर हो जाते हैं मुझसे, क्योंकि मेरे जो होम टाउन है बिहार, वहाँ पे लड़कियों को इतना अलाउड नहीं है. और वो लोग जो मेरी कज़िन सिस्टर्स है, वो लोग मुझे देखते हैं इतना जॉब ऐसे इतनी बड़ी कंपनी में काम करते हुए, तो वो लोग खुद इंस्पायर होके, अब मैंने देखा है वो लोग भी ट्राई करते हैं कि हाँ हम भी अब जॉब करेंगे, हिम्मत लगा के अपने घर पर बोलते हैं कि हमें भी जॉब करना है. तो मुझे ये चीज़ देख के बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि मेरी वजह से एटलीस्ट कुछ लड़कियाँ इंस्पायर हो रही हैं, और इस चीज़ को लेके मुझे बहुत अच्छा फील हो रहा है. और आज मैं यहाँ पर हूँ और इससे कई ज़्यादा आगे जाना है, और आप सब लेडीज़ भी जाने वाली हैं, आई नो. तो गेट रेडी टू ऑल ऑफ यू, एंड थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, Neha. And now we have Payal to share her inspiring story. She is her first women GT at shop floor from 2014 batch from the chemical engineering background. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. And today, like this is the first Women's Day where I'm hearing this lots of first, because we have had our DEI journey. Let me take you through my first. So I was recruited in the year 2014 in the Walia manufacturing plant. Though it was my first, it was first for almost everyone working on the shop floor there. So, and now we have heard 3 speakers who talked about being authentic, speak up, and also being authentic, speak up, and upgrade and upskill. These 3 are the major levers which I have experienced all through my journey. So, talking about the journey, when I was there, definitely it came up with different challenges because men were there, I was there, infrastructural issues, how to speak, how to align with everyone there on the shop floor, those were definitely there. But the things which ignited me and made me going was, like if there was a meeting, a small push from my managers, my colleagues, my people over there, they used to, Payal, what is your opinion on this? So speak up. Speaking up there, making my point there. They gave me a chance to speak. That was one very important thing. And in my whole journey, there were 2 points which kept me ongoing. One was being accountable and the freedom. People in the system believed in me. They always showcased their confidence in me that boosted up my own confidence in my capabilities and what can I deliver. That happened then is happening now, and that is the greatest fire which is keeping me alive in my whole journey. And during the panel discussion, we heard the statement from Geetha wherein she said, for me, my kitchen is my priority. That happens to almost, I think, everyone here. To men, I don't know what thoughts come because I'm not the one. But yes, to all the females, many a times it is like, do I want to keep my kitchen clean? Do I want to do the laundry first, or do I want to focus more on the deliverables which I have to deliver tomorrow? We have sea of emotions ongoing, and in that perspective, I was able to help myself or have come up with different ways of doing this. Think prioritize my tasks. I have been the one who go to my boss, let me know what is the priority. 1, 2, 3, which is the prioritized one. I'll channelize my focus over there, get it done, and then I'll do the parallel things. So prioritizing, not just in the professional life, personal life also helped me a lot. And then coming to small confidence boosting things and inclusion. I have seen a very good contribution of everyone, male, female, everyone in the system. They have always made me feel included. Let that be a meeting, let that be an opportunity. I was bestowed with many opportunities in my manufacturing career. One was like handling 2 plants, hydrogen generation and alcohol synthesis. Second was certifications where quality control and everyone's contribution came in. And third was like commissioning. There was one plant which we were supposed to commission. And you won't believe, I definitely doubted my capabilities. Ki yaar, commissioning mujhse nahi hoga. I don't have that physical strength. I will not be able to stay up and work for the extended hours. But believe me, when my system said ki Payal tujhse ho jayega, kar legi. Nahi hoga to hum baithe hai. And that actually gave me a major confidence that encouraged me a lot. And I was able to deliver on what I was asked to and I was supposed to. So yes, this was my journey in the Godrej Industries, and I'm very happy to see almost half the auditorium full with the ladies. Thank you everyone for this.
Thank you, Payal, and thank you everyone for sharing their wonderful stories. And I now hand it over to Tejal.
These were such amazing stories. So yeah, now moving on to the next segment, we have a short presentation. Vishal and I will be making this presentation. Can we share the screen? So like I mentioned at the last town hall, we have decided on the AOP and the targets for the financial year 24-25 for DEI for GIL chemicals. And before we delve into the details, let's take a moment to acknowledge the progress that we've made. In the past financial year, our gender diversity stood at 11.22%. Today, we've seen an increase with our current gender diversity percentage standing at 14.04%. However, our commitment to diversity won't end here. We have set ambitious targets for the upcoming financial year. Our aim is to elevate the gender diversity to 18%. This journey requires a collective effort and dedication from each one of us. As you can see, the path towards our target isn't without challenges. While the first transition was manageable, the second requires a significant leap. It's imperative that we come together as a team and take the proactive steps to bridge this gap. Let's seize this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to DEI and work collaboratively to achieve this goal. In numerical terms, let's break down our goal. Currently, we have 99 women in our workforce, and our target for the upcoming year is to increase the number to a minimum 127. Yes, undoubtedly a challenging target, but it's not impossible. So, how do we plan to achieve this? The answer lies in our collective efforts as one team. Most importantly, it will require each one of us to commit to this cause and play an active role in driving this change. Together, as one team, we can make a significant impact and create a workplace where everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. Let's make this vision a reality. These are the DEI objectives for FY 24-25. The first and the foremost, let's address our primary objective. Valia is tasked with ensuring that by September 2024, we will hire a minimum of 25 female employees. This goal is critical to our commitment to DEI, and it requires concentrated efforts from all of us. The second objective is to increase the female workforce at our Ambernath factory by recruiting an additional 10 female women. This targeted approach will help us foster greater gender diversity within this specific site. Our third objective will be to strengthen the female representation at our head office. We are committed to onboarding 5 additional women, further enriching our managerial and leadership roles with diverse perspectives and talents. Lastly, let's address the priority to increase female representation in managerial and leadership roles across GIL Chemicals. Currently, we observe a significant gap between L1 and L2, with 51 women in L1 and just 4 in L2. Furthermore, L3 and L4 currently have no female representation. Closing this gap is not just a goal, but a necessity for ensuring equitable opportunities for career progression within GIL Chemicals. Now, let's understand how are we going to do this as a team. The first plan is to implement a policy for DEI. With the help of the DEI Lab team, we will develop and implement a comprehensive DEI policy to promote an inclusive workplace culture. Second would be to conduct awareness and training sessions. We as a team need to conduct regular sessions on topics like unconscious bias, fair hiring practices to empower women employees with knowledge and skills. Advancement support. We must actively support diverse progression, talent into the managerial and leadership roles through mentorship and development opportunities, especially L2, L3, L4. Fourth will be to open dialogue and feedback from all the employees. Please facilitate these open dialogues and feedback sessions with your team members to address the DEI challenges that we are facing. As I mentioned in the last session, we will be taking feedback and suggestions from each one of you. Please do give us honest answers that will help us understand the challenges that you all are facing. The next one would be to have focus group discussions led by DEI spokes. With help of Vishal, we will designate DEI spokes for Valia and Ambernath. We will then organize a focus group discussions around the topics of DEI in the next coming few months. The next step would be to replicate our successful model of Ambernath factory even at Valia and bring in more and more women to achieve the targets that we've set. The next one would be to track these progress, and we'll share the updates with each one of you. We will continuously track these progress. The updates and achievements will be shared with all of you at the town hall meetings as transparently as we can. On a lighter note, Vishal, please note that we will also want to celebrate these milestones as and when we achieve them. The next step would be to learn from our very own GILAC. We will learn the best practices from GILAC to continuously improve our initiatives to increase gender diversity in GIL chemicals. So guys, it's quite clear that achieving DEI goals will require the concentrated efforts from every team and every individual sitting here today. Together, let us rally around these goals with enthusiasm and dedication. Let us support one another, challenge the biases, and champion diversity in all its forms. By working purposefully, we will overcome any obstacle and realize our vision for a truly inclusive workplace. I urge each one of you to embrace this journey with vigor and passion. Together, we can make a difference, not just within our organization, but the lives of every individual that we touch. Let's embark on this journey together. So I want to know now, are we all on board, or do I have the support of each one of you to achieve the DEI goals that we've just set for the next financial year? Can I get a quick yes or no? Yes. Superb. Thank you so much. Vishal, would you like to say a few words on the same?
Last year. Do I need it? Yeah. So we've made progress. We saw the 11 to 14. The fact remains we have something like 850 people in total. We're adding about 50, 60 right now as we speak. That's a new hiring that's going on. So we'll probably cross 900 workforce in the next, I would say, 5 months. Yeah, we are one of the few companies in the chemical industry who's hiring right now, because all of you know, we shared the strategy with you, you know what we are doing out there. So we actually have a very, very good opportunity to hit that 18% target that Tejal showed earlier. Okay, we have a very, very good opportunity. But it's not going to happen only with me or only with the EC or only with Tejal driving this. Every hiring manager who's here and every hiring manager who's watching this on the video, and every hiring manager who's not watching this, but we'll update with an email, I think each one of us is going to need to focus on this. So the way we are going to do it is from an execution point of view, right? Because all of you know, we can talk a lot, but we got to get things done. That's what makes the difference, yeah? Talking here is fine. What matters is what each one of us does when we go out. And we go back to our offices and we go back to our factories and we go back to our locations. So all hiring managers, you're going to get targets. You're going to get targets for female hiring, and you'll have to meet them. And we'll need particular help. Rajesh, Pandyaji, Bhavsarji, Dakshesh is here? No. We'll need help from everybody, huh? Especially in Valia. And Ambernath, Sagar? Sorry, I didn't see you. So Sagar, great work. Let's make it greater. I think that's a challenge for you. So I'm challenging you guys. Okay? I'm actually challenging you all to ensure that we not just meet that target that Tejal spoke about, but beat it. We lose over 100 people every year. In fact, it's probably more like 120. Okay, our attrition is about 120. It's normal. That's industry average. As we replace those 120, we now got to make sure that we are focusing on having women in that talent pool, and we give extra attention to that and hire more women. That's what we need to do. Something that we particularly did, me and the EC, as we are hiring people on the front end of the business and in R&D, etc. PEC is doing that hiring for us, People Experience Center. We actually told them, okay, you know what? From now on, every single role that we are hiring, we need a minimum number of female candidates. If we don't have that, stop the interviews. I don't want to only interview male candidates. So go and find those female candidates. We do have a little bit of a challenge because of the nature of the industry that we are in, okay? You don't have so many female chemical engineers out there, or female mechanical engineers, or female electrical engineers. And that's what we typically hire, one of these three, from a technical standpoint. On the front end and in the other functions like HR and finance, it's much easier. But in the plants, it's not so easy. So I think we understand that, which is why we are not setting a target of 50%. Because the talent pool is not 50%. The talent pool is probably 25, 30%. But we got to get there. And we got to get there in the next 2-3 years. Yeah? So I was just talking to Tejal when she was sitting here. That's why I called her. I told her I'm going to announce our 2027 diversity target as 25%. We got to get there. So we have 3 years. We have 3 steps. 18, probably 22, and then 25. That's where we got to reach. Okay? Now, let me just talk very quickly of something called allyship. Does anybody here understand what allyship means? It's a very powerful concept when you talk of diversity and enhancing diversity. Anybody here knows? So, another piece of advice to all of you, especially to all managers, please do some self-study yourself. Don't wait for events like this where you'll be taught about new concepts. You heard someone up there in the panel saying upgrade, upskill. Please do that. Try to find that 1 hour, 2 hours every week where you sit down on the weekend, in the evening, whenever you want. Learn some new things. Otherwise, you'll become like a dinosaur. And dinosaurs don't exist anymore, right? So you don't want to be the dinosaur. Allyship is a concept which says men have to help women, have to support, and have to do that in a disproportionate manner. How? I think we heard some fantastic examples from Geetha, from Puneet, from Vidya, of how the management supported them. And frankly, for me and the EC today, I think that was some very good learning for us. Okay? It was making me think, what are we doing? Are we doing enough? Do we need to do more? And I think the answer is yes. We need to do more. We'll figure it out. Okay? And you'll hear and see more about that. So that's allyship in one way. But for all of those men who have women as their peers, are you providing that extra support? Think about it. For managers, are you providing your women team members that extra opportunity? Think about it. For those men who have their spouses at home, their wives at home who are working, are you helping in the housework? Or you come home and say, Mera chai kahan hai? That'll be the dumbest thing if you do that. Yeah? You shouldn't do that. Actually, when your wife comes back home, you should say, can I make tea for you? That is how it should be. That's allyship. That's real allyship. Okay? So think about this. If we really want to make a change, it's not that when I walk into my office, I'm going to think diversity. At home, I'm going to be a chauvinist. That doesn't work. If you really want to have diverse thinking, it starts from home actually. It starts from your personal life. When you do it personally, you'll do it at work. And you'll do it well, you'll do it authentically, you'll do it truthfully from your heart. Does it make sense? Really? Okay. Any questions anybody has? You didn't ask the panel any questions. I was a bit surprised with that. But here, yes, Niharika? You can sit and ask. You don't need to stand. Okay. So I think this has a lot to do with processes and it has a lot to do with infrastructure. Ambernath, in that lovely video, you saw that bus picking up the women. I think we heard from our women colleagues out there in the Ambernath plant how they feel very comfortable even though it's one female with 22 male workers. Okay? This is cultural. And I applaud those male workers that one female feels very comfortable. Fantastic, that's how it should be. You know, we were in school, we had guys, girls. I don't think at that time we were thinking male, female. We were all just friends, just having fun together and studying together, right? That's how it should be. Here we are working together. We shouldn't even think so much about it. But I think, Niharika, I'm not sure there's a generic answer to your question. We'll have to look at it specifically case by case, you know. So Walia, Rajesh will have to figure out with his team what needs to be done. Sagar has already figured it out more or less. Anything more that needs to be done, I have no doubt he'll go and do it. HO, I don't know if we need anything, but if we need something, we'll get it done. I see absolutely zero issue with that. And again, one of the panelists said, speak up. That's very important. I do feel we have a little bit of a culture where we don't speak up. I feel like that. You know, I'm used to teams where people talk very openly and they say what they feel. We are a bit careful and we are a bit hierarchical. We should change that. You know, boss hai to chup raho, zyada mat bolo. Just now in the morning I walked into the canteen and there were 4 people chatting. I think some of them must be sitting here. And someone said, Sir, I. And I said, Sir, I to kya hua? Aap continue karo na, aap jo kar rahe ho. Main apna tray rakh ke chale jaunga. This should not be there. You know, we are all employees. None of us own the company here. We are all employees. So we treat each other with a lot of respect. Forget about this hierarchy. This is all bullshit. It's all very old-fashioned. Okay? So thank you, Niharika, for asking that question. And I'll answer again. We will do what is required. And Surendra knows, and many of you know, for safety, there is no cost constraint. There is no budget. The budget is unlimited. It's similar for diversity. It's similar for ethics. We are bringing diversity to that level of importance. Okay? Same as safety, same as ethics. There's no cost constraint there. We'll spend what is required. So thank you for asking. Any other question? I'd like the guys to ask some question as well, actually. Let's go with him first. Great question. And I don't have a ready answer for that right now. That's the truth, okay? It is something we have to work on. So I think, Tejal, that's a takeaway for us, right? We got to work on it, frankly. Sorry, what's your name? Welcome, Dheeraj. Today's day 1? Okay, so for all those who don't know, I'm sorry, we met a long time back, so I didn't recognize you. Dheeraj has joined us as the sales leader for South and West. Okay, you know Bandesh was doing that. Dheeraj is taking over, effective today. We'll make an announcement and have a call with the OMG and all that. So it's a great question, and we've not thought about it. That's the honest answer. But we will. Okay? So I don't think we'll do something in the next month or 2. Let us make some more steps forward first on gender diversity. But by the time we get to next year, this time, we'll share a plan with you, what we are doing on that. Yeah? That's a promise. But thank you for asking. Brilliant. Mansi? Can you hear? Sada? Okay. Well said. Well said. Very well said. The thing is, I think, to talk very honestly and frankly, all of us are coming from a certain background, cultural backgrounds. We are used to our mothers behaving in a certain way, our fathers behaving in a certain way. Some of us are brought up in the, big cities. Some of us come from the smaller cities. The culture's a bit different. So all of us have different distances to cross. But we got to try and see that we are progressing continuously. I think that's why the word help is used, because it's different. It's not how things have been done in the past. I'll give you my personal example. I met my wife in college. We were classmates. Okay, she's a gold medalist in her 12th. I got 64%. She's a gold medalist in a bachelor's. She did her BA psychology from Ferguson in Pune. Gold medalist, the number one record. No one ever got that kind of score. I got 67% in my 12th, in my engineering. In our MBA, she was tops. I was a good student. I got the best outstanding student, but academics, I was not great. She joined Arthur Andersen, highest salary in our placements. I got half the salary. In fact, some of her friends were telling her, you should leave this guy. He's getting half your salary. She started her work 3 months before I started. So when she would come home, I used to have dal, rice. I used to make potato vegetable. I learned, she taught me how to do it. I used to cut it. I used to have dinner ready when she used to come. And I never thought it was a favor. I was not working. She was working. She was coming tired, coming all the way from Nariman Point, and I used to have it ready. Okay, so I think your point is very, very strong, Mansi, and very, very true. It's a part of the game. Come on. You're a couple living together. You're raising children or whatever you're doing, and it's both your job. You got to share it. There's no obligation anyone's doing to the other. Any other question? Any other point? Yes, please. See, I see every day as Women's Day. Okay.
They should be treated equally.
Everybody heard? Yeah? So, frankly, I think you're right. But as I said in the beginning, when Mansi made her point, we are coming from a certain cultural background.
Yeah.
Okay?
Over a period, it should be changed.
Over a period, and it'll take time. But we'll get there one day.
Yeah.
And when we get there, that'll be the day. But it's going to take time, Smadar. This is going to be, this is a 10, 15, 20-year journey. I'm not suggesting the West does things better than us, but yes, I think the West has started on that journey 20, 25 years before us, okay? But even today, having worked across the world, I can tell you, even they've not reached there yet. They are still biases.
I think a mother should teach their son to...
Beautiful point.
Yeah.
So we'll get into a very different area if we go there, okay? But I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. We should teach
You're absolutely right.
to have equal to...
I think if every mother teaches their sons the right thing, 20 years from now, we will not need Women's Day. Maybe we'll need a Men's Day then. Okay, good. Somebody else also wanted to say something. Yeah, Nipa.
We saw the statistics for GIL chemicals, and we saw that there was a dearth of leadership, in L3, L4 roles, and I think that's something that's across the industry as well. So how do we get there? How do we get more leaders, women leaders on the board, or diverse leaders on the board?
We'll have to do it. As simple as that. As we are hiring, so, when we were actually making the presentation, we even thought, should we put it up there? Because that's a really negative thing. But we said, no, let's put it, because that's the reality. We got to show everybody. That's where we are. We don't have any L3, L4 women right now. Now, our new HR leader is joining us on 17th March. Okay, we'll release the announcement shortly. The HR team has already met her. It's a lady called Poonam Burman. She's joining us from Unilever. Okay, very experienced, top-class professional. So when she comes, we'll have one female in L4. But what about L3? Okay, why don't we have somebody running a business? Why don't we have somebody running one of the sales regions? Why don't we have somebody running one of the plants? Why don't we have somebody doing one of the bigger jobs in manufacturing? We've not done it. We will do it. So let's wait and see. Yeah, I think internally we will set targets for ourselves for L3. L4 I don't know, because L4 you don't have so many roles. It's a very small number of roles that we have, and we have people right now. Yes, we have some retirements, but we'll have to look at that. But I think L3 we definitely have opportunity, and we'll have to look at it very closely. But it's a very valid question, yeah. And I think, like I said, I'm challenging Rajesh and Sagar and everybody else, all the hiring managers. I think this is L3, L4. I need to challenge myself, and as an EC, we need to challenge ourselves to try and see that we have females coming into L3. We have to work on it. Yes, Riddhi. One sec, just take the mic. You're a bit soft.
So when it comes to diversity, nowadays people are asking that we need to find suppliers who are female, who are run by females. So do we have any strategy on that?
It's something I think we need to move in. We need to move in that direction, yeah. We've not done it yet, but very clearly, Tejal, Sanjeeva, I think this is something we need to look at, yeah. We have customers, by the way, beginning to ask us these questions. And I think we need to start learning from our customers. First, our customers used to ask us about sustainability. What are you doing about sustainability? How much of your carbon footprint are you reducing? How much of your emissions are you reducing? Now customers are beginning to ask us about diversity. Yes, things like child labor, exploitation, that's been going on for many years, but diversity is now becoming a question. And I absolutely think we need to drive it forward. See, because we are a big, big corporation, okay? We can influence diversity not just in our company, but even in the ecosystem around us. Not with our customers. We can't say that only if you have so much diversity, we'll sell product to you. But with our suppliers, we definitely can, because we have a level of influence out there. So it's a great point, Riddhi. I think we need to take that up. Sanjeeva, something to think about and talk about. Yeah? Thank you. That's a really, really good suggestion. You want to add something? I'm talking non-stop. No? Any other point? Yes.
We moved a lot. When I joined the company, that was around 30 years ago, that time the entire office in Vikhroli factory, it was the soaps division. I mean, it was soaps at that time. We Godrej Soaps Limited. And it was Vikhroli factory. At that time, everybody in the office also were men. And we have joined, and just like the girls have actually told their stories, that they were in rooms full of men. We've also gone through that, but in the office. And we've gone through training programs. We've worked with men, and we've never felt any issues. I mean, we never felt that we were different from them. We were on the same level at all stages. So that's something commendable in Godrej Industries. Godrej Soaps, the erstwhile Godrej Soaps.
Well, I think as a group, in spite of being 127 years old, I think we've been fairly modern in our approach. That has definitely been there. This is a very, very nice place to work in, without a doubt. And it starts with the family. It starts with the promoters. I think their value systems are absolutely top-notch. Best in class in the world. I don't think there's any other organization or family that has the same kind of value systems that they have. So it's absolutely brilliant. It's a great point. Again, I shared one personal example earlier. I can tell you, my first job, I joined Mafatlal Industries. I worked with a very short period of time. But my first manager was a female, which for the first couple of weeks, or no, actually for the first few days maybe, I just felt a little bit odd because I didn't expect that and didn't think that. But after that, it was a pleasure working with her. Absolute pleasure. She really took interest, taught me things, used to sit down, we used to sit 5 to 7 in the evening, and she used to train me on how to sell, about the business, etc. Unfortunately, she moved to Singapore after that, after 6 months. But it was a complete pleasure working for her. So you're absolutely right, and the point you made, why do we see it as different? I think these are very valid. We'll get there. One day we'll get there, hopefully. One more? No? Okay. So let's recap. 2027, what's the target we are setting for ourselves? Thank you. What do all hiring managers need to do? Louder, louder. Focus on hiring women. Yeah? Make sure, again, the point here is not that you only hire women because she's a woman. And I think Vidya made that point in a very brilliant manner. She used words like, make sure you have the capability and make sure you're competitive. Okay? This is not a reservation system. That's not the point here. So, but the point is, if you have a male and a female of the same level of capability, let's choose the female. I think that's the point. We'll have to make some moves like that. The point is not that if the female has a lower level of capability, still hire her. Then you're doing a disservice to the business. So don't do that. Okay? But make sure the talent pool that you're looking at has females in the talent pool. That is critical. Don't make a hire if you've not interviewed some good female candidates. Don't make that hire. Hold on. Wait till you find the right female candidates. Plants, you got a job to do. Valia, particularly you. Rajesh. Well, you can do more. 25 is not a limit. Minimum. Thank you. Okay. So you've got a job to do out there. Let's get that done. L3, L4, that's our job. That's me and the EC. We'll work on it. You have our promise there. Okay? And Dheeraj, to your point, LGBTQ, disabled, and maybe something else as well. We'll come to it next year. Yeah? So we will talk about that. Okay? You're hungry now? We have lunch, right? Yes. Okay, very good. Let me pass it back to Tejal.
Yeah, R.S. Kumar sir, you may please also say a few words. Sure. Yeah, please.
So I was told to give the closing remarks or the kind of vote of thanks. So knowing my reputation, Devi told me, knowing my reputation of drifting away from the script very far away, so Devi told me, sir, please go type it something and then read it. So I'm going to read that. So, my dear friends and valued participants, I'm honored to be presenting the closing remarks for this event. As we approach the conclusion of this insightful program, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you contributed to the success of celebrating women in manufacturing. I'm fortunate and honored to have played a small role in the DEI journey in Ambernath. We increased, as I just want to repeat, we increased the overall women representation in Ambernath factory from 4 to 40 in about 17 months, and overall 7 levels of interventions that we did. We enabled necessary infrastructure upgrades such as women washroom construction, CCTV network for security reasons, and acquiring consent from government to deploy women across all shifts. We also welcomed the first ever batch of women employees in shop floor roles in the production department. We have facilitated almost 1,000 plus training hours in ensuring that we create awareness of POSH awareness and gender sensitization amongst the employees in Ambernath, which is very crucial for this initiation. I'm really excited to see GIL Chemicals whooping increase in diversity representation over the last year, and now we have heard Vishal talking about our targets for year 2027. Let's make GIL Chemicals the best workplace for them. We are together in this. We, the EC management, we are together in this. And it's also right to say we are stronger together. The presentations, the panel discussions and shared stories today have truly been illuminating, highlighting the vital role of women play in propelling the manufacturing industry forwards. Particularly, the discussions that happened, it leaves every one of us a different person and different thoughts out of this room when we go out of this room. Our deepest appreciation goes to esteemed speakers and panelists. Parmesh and Nitin are not here. Mr. Vishal and the panelists, your valuable insights have undoubtedly left a lasting impression on us. The discussions on diversity, equity, and inclusion with the manufacturing space were not only engaging but also crucial for paving the way forwards a more inclusive and equitable future. Let this event serve as a catalyst for continued progress. We encourage you to carry the spirit of collaboration and commitment to DEI forward in your workplaces and communities. On behalf of the organization committee, thank you once again for the participation. May the inspiration and knowledge gained today empower you to continue shaping the future of manufacturing. Thank you.
Yes, yes, please.
So some of you would not have met me before. So my name is Raja Kaliappan, and I'll be responsible for research and development post Sandeep's retirement. So I just want to share my experience from my previous life in Bangalore. So there I used to run the process development team, which was at that point in time, which was about 25 scientists, and there were very few female scientists too there. And there was this one scientist by name Kalai, and she was from a rural area, and she used to live with her husband and mother-in-law in Pondicherry. And what she used to do is she used to shuttle between Pondicherry and Bangalore, which was an overnight journey between the over the weekends to live with her family. And then after some time, she had a baby, and then after the maternity leave, she didn't extend her leave, but she requested the management, me being her reporting manager and my manager who was the head of the department, that she would want to work 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, so that she could spend 3 days with her family in Pondicherry, either off on Monday or off on Friday. And then we said, she was doing good, so we said, that's absolutely fine. We'll give you a day off, additional day off. And don't worry about performance management or anything, because you would be working only 4 days a week. So she may not be able to do enough experiments in the lab compared to some of her male colleagues or some of her female colleagues. You know what she said? She said, don't give me any preference or any priority. I will achieve the bare minimum thing that I have been doing on a 5 day a week in these 4 days by working efficiently, or probably more than that. And what she used to do was, she used to borrow, every scientist has a few, one single few mood where he or she can do experiments. She used to plan her day very well that, she will come at 8:30 sharp, start her experiments, not while away time, and then before she leaves for the day, the last half an hour she used to spend on planning for the next day. She used to get space from her, other male colleagues and female colleagues. She'll set up everything for the next day's experiment, come at 8:30, start experiments. So her other colleagues were doing possibly, at the best 2 experiments a day. She used to do 3 experiments a day with so much of accuracy that that year she got the highest increment, and we promoted her. So I just want to recollect what Vidya said. There is no she had the courage. So I just want to say that she had the willpower and she had the courage. And she served as an example for the entire community, not just the female colleagues, but for the male colleagues also, how one can be efficient and can manage both personal and professional life. And I just wanted to, remember her during this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Raja, for sharing that inspiring story. So as we wrap up the first half of the day today, I want to extend my heartfelt thank you to each one of you for being here to celebrate women with us today. I want to thank Devi, Pragna, Lavina, Bhavna, Om and Vishwa. Thanks a ton, guys, for all the hard work you've been doing for the last couple of days to make this happen today. Thank you so much. And we want to take a group photograph before we head out for lunch. So I would request all of you to come on this side of the stage, and then we can just take a quick, nice picture, which we can then put it up on LinkedIn. Yeah, everybody. No, we'll just like, we'll take a photograph from up, and then we can just stand here. Come.